The Bible Stories. The Tower of Babel.
The first people spoke one language, reflecting the unity and harmony of mankind.
Bible verse, now the whole earth had one language and the same word.
As people journeyed east in search of new resources, they came upon the plains of Shinar and chose to settle there.
Bible verse, and as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. Genesis chapter 11 verse 2.
The people made and baked bricks to use as strong building materials.
Bible verse, and they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Genesis chapter 11 verse 3.
The people planned to build a tower reaching the heavens and a city to display their abilities and leave a lasting legacy.
Bible verse, then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth." Genesis chapter 11 verse 4.
God saw the people's prideful ambitions and came down to observe their actions.
Bible verse, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of man had built. Genesis chapter 11 verse 5.
God was concerned that the people, united as one, would grow prideful, glorify themselves, and stray from the right path.
Bible verse, and the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do." Genesis chapter 11 verse 6.
God decided to confuse their language so they could no longer understand each other.
Bible verse, "Come, let us go down and there confuse their language so that they may not understand one another's speech." Genesis chapter 11 verse 7.
God disrupted their language to prevent their pride, scattered them across the earth, and brought the city's construction to a halt.
Bible verse, so the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. Genesis chapter 11 verse 8.
The place where people came together to build a tower to the heavens was eventually named Babel, meaning confusion in Hebrew.
Bible verse, therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth. Genesis chapter 11 verse 9.
Scattered across the earth, the people developed unique languages and cultures.
Bible verse, they did not understand one another's speech and each went their separate ways. Genesis chapter 11 verse 7.
People grouped together by their languages and started new communities.
Bible verse, each gathered according to their own language. Genesis chapter 10 verse 5.
Differences in language and culture gave rise to various nations.
Bible verse, thus the nations of the earth were divided. Genesis chapter 10 verse 32.
Conclusion and lessons. Conclusion. The story of the Tower of Babel reveals what happens when human pride and self-reliant plans conflict with God's will. Instead of obeying God's command, the people united to build a city and a tower to glorify themselves and make a name for their accomplishments. In response, God intervened, confusing their language and scattering them across the earth. This event marked the beginning of diverse languages, cultures, and nations, showing how God's plan brings variety and richness to His creation. Lessons. 1. The danger of pride. Human pride in achievements and abilities can lead to forgetting God's authority. The Tower of Babel reminds us of the dangers of self-glorification and teaches that all success should ultimately give glory to God. 2. God's sovereignty. God observes all human actions and intervenes when necessary to redirect them. This story demonstrates that God is all-powerful, actively involved in human history, and his plans are always greater and perfect. 3. The origin of diversity. The diversity of languages and cultures originated from the Tower of Babel incident. While it began as a consequence of human pride, it ultimately highlights the richness and beauty of God's creation in its variety and differences. 4. The importance of obedience. Despite God's command to fill the earth, the people resisted and chose to remain in one place. This story underscores the significance of obedience to God's instructions, which lead to blessings and align us with his greater purpose. 5. God's grace in judgment. While the confusion of language was a form of judgment, it was also an act of grace. By scattering the people, God prevented them from continuing down a unified path of rebellion and opened the door for the development of unique communities and cultures. This shows that even in judgment, God's actions are filled with mercy and purpose. Application. We should seek God's will above our own desires and humbly submit to his authority. At the same time, we should embrace and appreciate the diversity of languages and cultures as a testament to God's creativity and plan. By honoring God in our actions and respecting others, we fulfill our purpose of glorifying him and living in harmony with his design.